Hello, Cryptowisers! Welcome! Today we got a very special episode for you. We are doing a live Q&A with Hendrik Hey. Hendrik Hey is the founder and managing director of MILC, the Media Industry Licensing Content Project. Very, very cool project. Lots to talk to Hendrik about. I am Milton, and I got my good friend Marv here with me.
How's it going, everybody?
Cryptowisers.
Hey, welcome back to Cryptowise, guys. Super exciting episode here for you.
All right, guys. Well, let's dive in right away here with Hendrik. He's joining us from Munich, Germany, all the way from lovely Munich. And we got a lot to talk about. So just so you know, this is a chance for you to, we're doing this live so that you can also ask Hendrik some questions. I've got my own questions because I think MILC is a super interesting project. I'm so excited to dive in here. But as I'm talking to Hendrik, make sure you get those questions in. You can just put them in the comments. Marv is going to be watching the comments throughout the show. Also, you can tweet them at us at Crypto. Join us today. It is such a pleasure to get to chat with you.
Hey, everybody. So there was a short sound interruption, so I didn't get your last words, but I guess you said hello to me, right?
Yeah, Milt, you broke up there for a second, Milt.
Did I break up, really? Marv, come on. Make sure that my sound is good.
You're back. Don't worry.
All right. So, Hendrik, for those watching right now, this chat, I guess we should just give a little bit of background here about MILC, about the Media Industry Licensing Content Project. So when I first heard about this project, I was really intrigued by it because I really agree with you that the media industry, which you have been a part of for many years, is ripe for disruption, especially with a lot that blockchain can offer. I want to really zero in here on what problems and challenges the media industry has that MILC is going to be able to solve. So maybe we can just can you outline for us first what the problems are, what these challenges are that the media industry has right now that could be done better?
Yeah. So even though the media industry is quite an innovative industry, a lot of things are happening, and it's all about storytelling and emotion and entertainment. In a certain way, it's very, very old-fashioned, very analog, very slow. So there are processes within our industry that really hasn't changed the last 100 years. Since the very first days of the Hollywood studios. And those things are, okay, you have content producers, what we are since many, many decades already. You have distributors, what we are since many, many decades already. And you have broadcasters or theater owners, so the outlets. So basically, the whole industry stands on three pillars. That's the way the industry worked. And we thought about certain aspects and how we can change them. And actually, I'm really thankful that for a couple of years, I got to know about the opportunities of blockchain technology and what you can do with that. It was in the beginning of 2016, I guess. And I was not that interested in what was going on by that time, ICOs, token here, currencies there. I was always interested in what kind of functionalities do those protocols provide us in our industry. And so we try to translate the technology in that existing industry, which is one of the largest in the world. And one thing that came into our mind was the distribution part. There are thousands of program hours going from A to B every day, and every network is buying, every streaming platform is buying. There are a lot of producers trying to sell, but it's really hard to deal in that particular space. You have to have great networks. You have to be for a long time around. Everybody needs to know you. You have to travel a lot. You have to meet people wherever they are. You fly around forever. You have exhibitions or trade fairs. So it's really, really complicated. Then all the licensing, contracting, this is really a nightmare. And we sat together with a couple of guys from Swiss Public Television, with their technical arm, and we said we have to digitize that. It's really a digital word, and we have to find an expression, a digital expression of the market the way it is in a much more comfortable way. This is how it starts. You have to solve a couple of broadcast transmission problems, but that's all the technology background. And then we have to think about, okay, the value which is going to be traded on the planet are licenses. So licenses have a high value, and they need to be protected as much as we can. And out of my perspective, blockchain technology was actually really made for that. It's the technology that has a functionality exactly in that space. So we were integrating that. And some other cool features which were around, like early artificial intelligence features, and so on and so on. And out came a platform, the MILC platform, a media industry licensing content, which is actually the first digital marketplace that really reflects the business the way we know it. Yeah? And we are broadcasters. We know that perspective of a broadcaster. So in that particular case, we are buyers, but we are producers as well. So we know the problems of any producers. And the whole platform was developed from professionals for professionals. And if you just bring it down to something, we call it kind of a Netflix for professionals. Now, this is the place where everybody trades his content before it reaches the audience. Yeah, it's the level above that. Yeah, it's a huge market, some like $500 billion market each year, and we've been lucky that we developed that early. So we have a quite cool advantage right now.
Yeah, no, it sounds really interesting. I really, I love projects like yours where there's such a clear value proposition. So I just want to walk through this kind of for our audience a little bit, just to kind of have a clear sense of what you're talking about. So if I'm a producer of any, film, television content, I have a production company, I produce a TV show, say, and then basically I have to go out and find people to buy this or license it from me. They'll pay me a license to show it on their television channel, their streaming channel, or whatnot. And as you say, up till now, most of that has been done in person at trade fairs or whatnot. So can you walk me through, maybe not exactly what happens right now, but your vision for when MILC is totally complete? If I'm a producer, I've got a really great television show, I want to use MILC to get my distributors. What does that look like? How can you walk us through what you imagine the process is going to look like when you're all done building this?
Yeah, you're entering a certain website, our shop. This is what we're working on right now. We have a lot of design work to do. It has to look just cool, and this is what's happening right now. The technical backbone is ready. So what you have to do as a producer, we will walk you through some templates. We call it the onboarding process. You have to provide us with some informations. Of course, the asset itself, the way it is. Let's call it a video. Yeah, and then there are many metadata that are really important for the buyer. Sound layers, music layers, voice layers, whatever. Yeah, so there's a bunch of professional information that you have to provide the buyer with, because he has to integrate that into his network, for example. And that's a technical process. So it's not only shifting a video file from A to B. That has no value for the buyer. The other level of information is all the right informations, like chain of rights, who is involved, who receives royalties, who owns the music, are you really the owner? How can you deliver an evidence that you are the owner, and so on and so on. Then scripts, texts, marketing material. So there's a bunch of things that you can add to your asset in order to make the distribution easier. The more I get as a buyer, the better it is for me, and the more easier is it for me to purchase that kind of file. The producer has to provide the platform with as much information as he has, and that onboarding process actually doesn't cost anything. So he's invited to just enter to the marketplace for free. The buyer on the other side receives all those informations, and he can make a decision whether he's interested or not. And then the whole, the real distribution process starts. I, as a buyer, need to know whether the territory I want to acquire the content for is available. I need to know what the producer has in his mind in terms of a price. This is more or less a bid and ask process. So nobody has a price tag on his video. It's kind of what kind of value has it for me as a buyer? So bidding process is integrated into the platform. And of course, while those two guys are negotiating, in the background, we're working with kind of a contract template. So basically, our idea is while they are negotiating, the contract is going to be developed in the background. And if they are through with the process, the contract is there. All they have to do is to sign. So what has happening? What has happened? The producer doesn't have to fly around anymore. The buyer as well. You reduce legal costs a lot. You reduce technical costs a lot. So basically, it's an advantage for the producer. And of course, one intermediary, which is very expensive for producer, is the distributor. The way he works right now, you have intermediary distributors all over the planet. And once in a while, they charge 30 up to 50% of what was not negotiated. So basically, that means the producer has to make his program more expensive. That reduces his market opportunities. The network itself has to pay for something which is not in the program. The money goes to, I don't know, to whom. And that basically means producer can lower the price or add the budget really into his project. And this is what producers always do. They really love to put the money into their project. Because is kind of a baby and you want to have it as nice as possible. The network wants the producer to put it all in the project because he has to present it to his audience and he want to make ratings. So actually you bring those two guys much closer together. They have the opportunity to trade directly. Of course, we are in between as well, but we are a digitized platform, so costs are way lower. We charge a distribution fee as well, but it's not 50%, it's 10% in the beginning, and we have a digressive model. The more traffic we have on the platform, the less the distribution fee on our side will be.
Right.
So basically, that means the money should go to the producer.
That's amazing. I mean, if you're able to pull this off, I got to say it is a brilliant idea. I think especially with the change in the industry, because even for people who aren't in the industry, we see that with the streaming services, with advertising not really generating the revenue that it does, that a lot of producers are struggling to be able to make content and be able to get the revenue back that they need. So cutting out the fat in the industry right now, actually, the timing of this is huge, I think, to be able to allow producers to make the content that they want to make and still be able to make their money back. If you're able to reduce a lot of the costs and get rid of a lot of those middlemen, that would be amazing. I'm curious, in terms of maybe say some of the contracts or the rights distribution, the royalty distribution, do you imagine any of this happening on blockchain? Are these going to be through smart contracts eventually? Is that kind of what you're imagining?
Yeah. That's what I mean. The blockchain technology provides us with opportunities, especially what could be in smart contracts. Of course, we have to develop those smart contracts in a way that they really fit to the demands of our industry, but it's possible. An easy thing that everybody can imagine is kind of a blockchain-based notary. When I'm talking about licenses and contracts, you can easily hash an existing contract in the blockchain, and then it's more or less kind of a notary. And sooner or later, we think that that has even in front of or when it comes to conflict, it has a meaning. It's really important that the the MILC platform can always say, okay, whatever these guys are now arguing about, this was the content they have agreed on. This is the issue for any legal thing which could happen, and once in a while it does happen in the industry. But there's only one functionality, as I said. Those kind of standard licensing templates, what we are going to develop with our law firms. We're very experienced in all those existing licensing contracts, that we try to really reduce the complexity of those things, make it easier. And then you have a if and when functionality, so that can be handled through a smart contract pretty good. Like, if you give me that, you get that money, for example. That has value when it comes to non-existing production. So we are dealing with existing content on the one hand, but there are pitch places for producers on that platform as well, where they can promote their new program. And most of the bigger networks, they're not interested in library. They want to hear the new cool stuff, which is in the producer's mind. You might have a trailer or some layouts. So it's about the future. And if I go in as a buyer, we call it pre-sale. You have the idea, I have the money. I give you a license fee in advance. I don't give you the whole license. I give you part of that. Because then I want to, I said, okay, I give you 1/3 till end of shooting. I give you 1/3 till end of editing. I give you 1/3 when everything is delivered. So there is a milestone functionality that can be provided through smart contracts, actually pretty good.
And so for the stuff that you imagine could happen on the blockchain, so some of these smart contracts and stuff, have you decided what network you're going to use? Are you going to use Ethereum? Have you looked at any of these other level 1 networks that are maybe faster and cheaper? And I'm just curious where you're at with that.
We have looked through many opportunities. The good thing is we are not really, we don't need this or that blockchain. For us, it's kind of a matrix that we can put from here to there. So even if we would start with the Ethereum blockchain, for example, then it's not that complicated for us to migrate that to another blockchain, because the main issue is the functionality. And for my industry, all that counts is the result. So actually, they don't care what kind of backbone when it comes to blockchain technology serves that, as long as everything is correct. So
I know that we've talked to some other projects that in the industry they're working in, they need maybe some consistency around the cost. And Ethereum, because the gas fees sometimes go way up, sometimes they're down, you can't provide that sort of cost guarantee to people. So they've chosen some of the other networks. I guess, would that be a consideration for you, that you're able to tell people it's going to cost X, and the gas fee isn't going to like one day be super high and then all of a sudden people's costs go way up?
So the thing is, we have to see two functionalities of a blockchain. The one is what I'm just talking about, storing, let's say, files, which is not that complicated. You store, the blockchain is used by us to store information, and we could even do that on the Bitcoin blockchain. It's not that complicated and doesn't generate that much fees. The other thing is the token. Of course, we have developed our own token, the MLT, Media Licensing Token, that has a journey in front of him. So of course, we are promoting kind of alternative cash, and a certain functionality that's now matched to what we need, what we might need in our industry. And then the gas fees, they become an issue. If one day, right now, a buyer and a seller, they could work in dollar or in euro or Swiss francs, whatever they want. But of course, we are promoting that a tokenized structure as well. And then the question, how high is the gas fee, might become an issue. On the other hand, we're talking usually about some bigger numbers. It's not like $500 here and $1,000 there. It's most of the time 100K plus, some millions, and so on and so on. And you might be okay with some $1,000
Right.
gas fee if the number is high enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, keep our eye open, and we hope that there will be alternatives, or we hope that Ethereum at a certain point find a different functionality, like proof of stake, that works, and that things get cheaper. Yeah, but we can live with.
Yeah, no, that makes
of
sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess where it might get complicated is if once you're trying to do the smart contracts, if you are trying to embed these kind of licensing templates with all sorts of royalty stuff in there and stuff like that, then it might get a bit expensive. I'm curious. So I'm going to totally mispronounce this, and I apologize, but your company, Welt der Wunder, is an existing company. It's a well-established media company within Germany, both as a broadcaster and a content producer. I'm curious, what has the reaction been within your industry? Do people think you're crazy? Do your colleagues, do your peers, are they jealous that you thought about this first? What has the reaction been when you're talking to your colleagues within the broadcast industry so far?
Actually, it's very positive. It was a little slow when we started in 2016, 17. Everyone was like, what are you talking about? What is blockchain? Is that Bitcoin stuff? Is that the darknet stuff? They don't know. Yeah. And actually, it's still the same. It's funny. Yeah. But they all smell that there is a huge change, a huge transformation going on. And we've been so lucky that we got in contact with these opportunities of blockchain technology. I see it as the same paradigm change back then in the beginning of 2000, or in the late 90s, when the .com industry emerged and so on. Everything was new, and nobody knew at that time what a website is. Yeah. And it took some time to adapt what the advantages are, like e-commerce, like those kind of things, technologies that are optimizing the market quite radically. And this is happening, out of my perspective, right now at the same time. It's not that we invent the world completely new. It's just that we optimize existing functionalities into a more efficient way. Yeah, and
Right.
this is actually easy for the industry to adapt. They don't have a clue how it works, and even us, it took us quite some time to understand how we can use that. But as it's there, everybody's waiting actually for the platform. So we're already signing contract with big publishing companies. They're asking, how can we get access to cool OTT content, which is the content the publishers need, small videos for their websites, and so on and so on. We are in contact with libraries asking, how can we onboard? When can we onboard? The buyers, of course, are there as well, because there's actually no reason why they shouldn't use that marketplace. If they find content, they definitely will use it. So the atmosphere is really good. And then I have to say, even though it's all a nightmare for us, the Corona years, that was kind of a push for us as well, because at a certain point, no traveling was possible anymore. No meetings were possible anymore. No trade fairs more possible anymore. So no producing anymore. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So your platform, I guess they see the use for a platform like yours even more now, with not being able to meet people in person and things like that.
Right. And if something like that kind of event is happening, everybody starts questioning, what have I done before? For example, there's the world largest TV exhibition of trade fair, which is in South France, in Cannes. it's a nice place to go there. Everybody loves to go there and do some broadcast trading, but it's really expensive. It's really expensive and very inefficient, because even if you're there, 100,000 people are there as well. Do you really find the right person? Do you have the right meetings? It's really complicated. Yeah, and lots of even producers really appreciate the opportunity that they don't have to go there anymore. Yeah, they can
Right.
sit at home and they have access to the world as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that reduces really a lot of money. If you're a small producer and you have to pay something like 10, 20K just to be on a trade fair for a week or so, it's really something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a really positive reaction coming out of the industry. Of course, they're all asking, when do you start? And I say, okay, let's do some nice design work around the shop so that it really looks cool. And then we release the platform. But we already know everybody will get the idea right away because it's easy. Yeah? They know the
Yeah.
process, they know the procedures. So there's nothing fancy in it. It's just a cool use case. Whatever is happening in the background, that's our problem.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great, that's actually a great transition, because I do want to talk about the roadmap. I want to have a quick look at the roadmap, see where you guys are, what the big things coming up. But I just want to remind people, keep those questions coming. Marvin is checking the questions in the comments, and we're definitely going to get to your
We
questions.
do.
I see a lot.
We've got some great questions coming in, guys. So we are keeping track of those, and we are going to ask them very soon.
Yeah, and I
Okay,
know a
cool.
lot of questions coming in about the token, and we're definitely going to be talking about the MLT token and where you can get it and all that beautiful thing. So let's just have a quick look at your roadmap here, Hendrik. Where are we at? What are the big major milestones that are coming? Because I notice on the website under Q3 and 4 of this year, we got a lot of things there. Are you on
Yeah,
track to meet these things? And maybe just give us a highlight of what the big things people can look out for from MILC in the coming weeks.
yeah. So we're actually more or less on track. A couple of things a little delayed, as I said, but that's more or less my problem. I'm working now on the design of the shop, right? And as we are talking Hollywood here, I can't go out with a platform which is less than that. So I'm really kicking my designers, and I want to have it better and better and better. So whenever we're a little delayed with the platform launch, it's my fault. Excuse me.
I think that's a good excuse, though, because I got to say, we've been involved with a lot of crypto projects that launched a bit too early, and the design doesn't look great. The user experience isn't great. Maybe the back end coding is really amazing, but when that user experience isn't great, you're seeing backlash. So I think you're smart to hold back, make sure that when you launch, it looks amazing.
Yeah, but we're going to provide the community soon with some first layouts and designs, and they might understand why we're really, really, really working on that very hard, because our clients are the industry, yeah, and they know what quality is. If our marketplace doesn't provide them with quality, they just don't come back, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's a small delay, but not that complicated, and it will pay off in the end. Rest is on track, and actually there's even more. As I said, I didn't expect that many cool negotiations with buyers and sellers at that early stage. I really thought, okay, we have to be online with the platform, and that always starts, but that has started very, very early. Yeah, and as I said, we're signing and talking, and everybody understands it's actually quite easy to access the platform. They appreciate that they don't have to pay anything, and that we don't charge that much. Yeah? So this is cool. Then we have some very, very interesting, out of my perspective, really, really amazing partnership opportunities. That goes a little bit into the tokenizing aspect. We might talk about that later, because that is a very, very important issue, and I have a different interpretation of what tokenization means out of my perspective.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. So let's transition into that. But first, because I know I want to get into the three kind of pillars of tokenization that you
Yeah,
guys launch. But first, let's just so that we can be clear with the audience, because sometimes it can get confusing. Right now, MILC has one token out there that is accessible. You can grab this token right now if you want it. It's the MLT token.
yeah,
And it's available on Uniswap for Ethereum. I think you can also get it on PancakeSwap on the
yeah.
Binance Smart Chain network.
Mhm.
So this is the main utility token for this project. So if you guys are interested, this is the one to look into, MLT. It's available on Uniswap, available on PancakeSwap. And just so people know, because this is important, we talk to our audience a lot about this. It's my understanding that the private sale, because a lot of what happens with when a project like yours, you need to raise money to be able to do a bunch of stuff. And so what you'll do is offer the token at a lesser cost to some early investors. And so when the token launches, they get their tokens kind of vested over time. And it's my understanding, and that what can happen with a token is that when that happens, the private buyers get their tokens. Some of them might sell, especially in the down market that we've been experiencing, and that creates some down pressure on the value of the token. And so it's actually my understanding that now all those private tokens have been distributed now. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's great. So I think the timing of this interview for me as a kind of a retail investor, obviously not financial advice for anyone else, but if you're doing your own research on MILC, that is an important element to remember with a token value. All those private tokens are now in distribution. You don't have to worry about any more vesting coming out in the next months. So that's for the MLT token, the main utility token. So let's talk a little bit, Hendrik, because you came out with this strategy where you're actually going to have a 3-pillar strategy for tokens now. So there will be the existing MLT token, and then you're also going to be launching a security token, the MLT-S token, and an NFT token, the MLT-N token. So can you walk us through the strategy behind that and what each of these different tokens are going to be offering and how they're different?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, when I thought about that tokenization process, by that time we were talking about utility tokens only. Right? There weren't really projects offering security tokens. NFT were not really around. But I thought, okay, how can we connect different token classes to different meanings of what we are doing on the professional side, on the industry side? So first thing was, okay, if we're talking about a platform like the MILC platform, we need to have some kind a token that is supposed to be, supposed to be the meaning of cash. Yeah, it's an alternative cash, and this is how I understand the MLT token. Yeah, it really can be seen earliest when the platform is live, because of course we are promoting the industry to use the token for certain purposes, and they're not part of the trading world. Yeah, they're not cryptocurrency persons. Yeah, so they don't once in a while they don't even know that there is a secondary market where people are trading the token, but we want to attract the functionality what we have to develop with the token. So, but that's the meaning. It's cash. Yeah, and that has a certain value, the most important value in the end. Then we said, okay, the security token that reflects the company. Yeah, you mentioned behind the MILC platform, there's a company called Welter Wunder, World, World of Wonder. That's the translation. And we might use World of Wonder for international reasons because we own that brand as well. And that company is more than 25 years old. This is a very high prestige production, distribution, broadcasting company. That company was evaluated in November 2020, last time by Ernst & Young, with something around 100 million. That's the value of the company behind the MILC platform. So by offering a security token, you address more those institutional investors. Yeah, and we need them for the future because we have big plans. So you need to have some more institutional investors on your side as well. And the security token is an instrument that, on the one hand, helps them to get into the token world, but on the other hand, you get something more than for a utility token. In that particular case, if you buy a security token, you own the profit participation of the overall company profits, not only.
So essentially, it's like buying shares in World of Wonder.
Yeah, it's not really a share, so you don't have ownership. You're participating on the profit.
I see.
So you
Okay.
can. So, but it's 20%, so it's a high profit. Yeah, if you don't give like rights or ownership, then you have to increase the profits. And out of my perspective, profit is the more interesting thing. Yeah, you have some more some ownership rights doesn't mean anything.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. So that's the security token, and then there's a third token, which is the NFT token, which I think is a really interesting idea. Can you explain that one?
Yeah, that reflects a business model. Yeah, it's out of my perspective. I've always seen an NFT as a business model token, and it reflects a business model which is quite common in our industry. We call it co-production. Very easy thing. You have the idea for a movie. Let's say I have the money. I give you the money. We agree on a 3, 4, 5-page contract, and you produce the movie. Whatever comes in, first of all, I get my money back plus X%, and then we share 50-50. Yeah, right. That's how movies most of the time are going to be financed on a large scale.
So essentially, it's like, right now we're seeing the NFT craze out there. We're seeing all these avatar NFTs, like the Bored Apes, going for millions of dollars. And even with those NFTs, the idea is that you'll be able to fractionalize that and buy, just a portion of one Bored Ape if you can't afford a full one. Yeah. So is this the same idea that basically the content that people are trying to sell, the TV show, the movie, whatever, that will be basically an NFT that can be fractionalized and investors can just buy a fraction of that NFT? Is that the way that would work?
Yeah, and it solves actually another very important problem, which I haven't mentioned so far. Besides the fact that we're talking a B2B professional marketplace, the intention of the whole platform was how can we integrate the audience a little bit more? Yeah, and because for us as producers, the audience is the most relevant target group. Yeah, all we are doing is for an audience to receive early feedback, to make them become part of what we are doing, of the creative process, is, out of my perspective, could become a very cool thing, a very emotional thing, and it's not possible right now. So we have some functionalities on the MILC platform where, for example, a producer can ask his audience, a target group, a focus group, in advance, are you willing to help me? Can you provide me with, let's say, marketing, communication, or ideas, and so on and so on. And that has to become a reward system because those informations are really, really of high value for us. And we pay a lot to marketing companies. Why shouldn't we give that marketing money not directly to the audience? This is what the MLT is for as well. So it's a reward functionality to the audience.
Yeah, I love that. I think this is really going to... I just love I just wanted to say that I love the idea. I think that I can envision this of how this is going to revolutionize the film and television industry. So it's amazing that you're at the forefront.
Yeah. The more I think about that, the more I have the feeling that I call it that social community aspect of the MILC platform could become way bigger than the content.
Yeah. So Marv, I want to make sure, sorry, Hendrik, don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry about that, but I just want to make sure we have some time here for viewer questions. I've been hogging all the questions so far. Marv, what are the great questions that have come in? Why don't we ask Hendrik some of the viewer questions now?
Sure. I mean, you've covered some of it, guys. You've covered a lot. And so some of the questions have already been answered in the last couple segments. We do have a question here from Nick. Do you have or intend to partner with any other broadcasting entities such as Netflix for the platform? If so, will there be a separate mechanism / pricing or enhanced functionality platform for partners?
No, actually, we don't want that. The MILC platform is an independent content trading place. It's slightly more developed for producers, yeah, because out of my perspective, that's the part of the industry that has to be protected. Yeah, the buyers, and I'm a buyer as well. I don't need to partner with a marketplace. All I want to see is, do you have content which I'm interested in or not? So there is no resistance, as I mentioned, from the buyer's side. So I don't like the fact that I might be suddenly in an advanced partnership with ABC or NBC or BBC. I don't know. Yeah, because that pushes others away. Yeah, and or Netflix. If I have Netflix as a partner, Amazon Prime wouldn't work with me, or Disney. So we really have to make sure that this is an open source marketplace, and everyone is invited to use that. But the MILC platform stays independently. That doesn't mean that we don't enter into other partnerships,
Right.
which is for the industry. But I can not really talk about that. But we receive partnering offers out of a direction which I wasn't able to foresee that. Yeah, but that comes more out of the fintech direction. That's why, the claim, it's a little bit the first global fintech tokenized media house.
Right.
That has to do with the transformation process I'm talking about. I see that we as a media company, we have to become more. We have to think at least a little bit like a fintech company, a little bit like a bank, a little bit like a deal broker, and so on and so on, a little bit like a stock market. So we have to adapt that into our media thinking. Otherwise, we are not flexible enough anymore. And it's happened the other way around as well. There are fintech money organizations that start thinking about, actually it's all about content, so we have to build a bridge between those two directions. And this is what interests me, what that fascinates me. And if we are able to close one of those partnerships, I'm really happy, and I'm happy to pronounce that. I foresee there's one thing, is a little spoiler. If that happens, that's frightening. Frightening
We,
good for us. Frightening good for us. It's
yeah.
really, really cool. Yeah. But what I wanted to say, just one small thing regarding the NFT, just that we don't forget that.
Yeah,
The
I was just going to bring that up,
NFT
actually. I apologize, because we do have a question about how do you plan to implement NFT technology?
Yeah, that's fairly easy. It's already there. For example, for us, the complicated thing is the regulation, yeah, the legal side. And we are a regulated company. We always have to keep that in our mind. And what we're going to do is we take an NFT, which is already a regulated NFT structure, which is already existing in the real estate world. Yeah. All you have to imagine is take the building out of the NFT and put, for example, a movie or any other media project in. Yeah. The functionality is the same. From that moment on, it's possible to fractionize that deal. And it doesn't matter whether you contribute $1 to the next Star Wars movie or 100 million. It just doesn't matter. Yeah. And we are able to handle those kind of deals. Just guess, $100 million production has to handle 100 million $1 investors. Yeah, that wouldn't be possible in the real world. In the NFT world, it is possible. Yeah, so that basically means whoever is interested. Yeah, you don't have to, but you can. Right now, for you as a normal individual, it's hardly possible to invest in a movie. Yeah, you don't have access. Yeah, and suddenly we building another bridge. Suddenly it's possible. Then you are able to participate on the value once in a while those things make, and you're not in the last recoupment position. You are on the same level as the owner, as the producer. So whenever he gets something, he will get it as well. And what we see ourselves as kind of a managing platform that makes sure that we are always on the investor side. Yeah, but we are experienced enough to manage those productions as well. But we are actually consulting the structure through those NFT baskets, which are already existing in a way that it works nicely. Yeah.
Right.
So that's basically the plan. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. We have some more questions. I just want to try to get through a couple more.
Yeah.
Feature testing's asking, will MLTN will it be issued? Sorry, will it be issued by the projects and sold on MILC platform, or how will it work?
Sure. Of course, we have basically what we try to offer to the production world, to the creative world, is we have the distribution platform. So we might help you with the distribution, which is a hard thing to do for a producer. We might provide you with a financing instrument, which is the NFT. Yeah. Right. So maybe if you have the right project and you are able to create audience or interest out there in the crowd, more or less, you might receive financing through the platform. And that's why with the MLTS, the security token, we are a broadcaster as well. We could provide each license, which is interesting for my network, with a first license fee. Yeah. Not anything, but a couple of them. And we will gather a lot of networks around the platform. So basically, one day you enter with a cool project on the platform, you receive pre-sales through the platform, you receive investment through the platform, and they take care about the distribution. All you have to do is make a goddamn good movie, and that's it.
Now, do you have? Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. That's super exciting. Dominic just says, this isn't a question, but he says this is mind blowing. He's always wanted to get a portion of the Star Wars profits.
Yeah, me too.
Are there any plans to move the platform to another chain off of Ethereum, given the gas prices?
Sure. As I said,
you talked about this a bit earlier.
Yeah, we have an eye on that. As long as it works for us, we might take the one of the strongest networks that are available, but we don't foresee the future. Actually, for us as a project that sits on blockchains, yeah, it doesn't need to be a blockchain,
right?
Yeah, and it's not a blockchain protocol. We are users. We are users of blockchain technology, and that basically means we can shift the marketplace from here to there. When things are changing, maybe Ethereum explodes because of regulation, we move to Bitcoin, right, or we move to whatever. Yeah, right. And we do not foresee what kind of cool developments will come, and we always have our eyes and ears in the industry. And if somebody provides us with an ecosystem that really fits to what we need, then we might shift to that. Yeah, right. So we remain always flexible. I never wanted to be
tied to one chain that you can't pivot if need be.
Yeah, we need to be.
I want to just touch on a couple of token things just to make sure, because I know we have a lot of people, retail investors, who might be interested now in grabbing some MLT tokens. So right now it's available on Uniswap and on PancakeSwap. Any plans, and can you give any hints to when it might be more widely available, maybe some of the centralized exchanges or anywhere else?
Yeah. The thing is, that might be a little bit my problem. I'm already somewhere else, yeah, and of course I witnessed what happened with Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, and so on and so on. But I always had the feeling that those systems are quite vulnerable. Yeah. And one shock that appears to me just recently was when the Eurogate from Binance was closed. Yeah. Suddenly, some British regulators said you're not allowed to pay out euro anymore. Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, yeah, what is the meaning of the platform? Because I'm still living in two worlds. Yeah, I'm dealing with cryptocurrency and or stable coins, but once in a while I have to push it into the fiat world in order to pay my people or the rent or whatever. Yeah, so I need those functionalities. But what is happening, I do not know whether you realize that in Germany, for example, we started very slow with the regulation. In the beginning, we were quite strict. But over the time, Germany, out of my perspective, has become really innovative by changing laws in a way that digital assets become more and more tradable. And of course, a huge exchange like the German stock exchange, one of the top 5 in the world, they will start in November, for example, changing standard shares into digital shares. Next level is integrating digital assets like securities into their marketplaces. Next level is if they deal with securities, they can do utilities as well. Yeah. So my perspective is how long will those existing big centralized exchanges exist when the big players like New York Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, German Stock Exchange, whoever will step into that market segment. And personally, this is what I want to do with my security token. I want to list him on a German stock exchange in the segment called Xetra. We have to develop a full prospectus, which works for our regulator, and we want to make it SEC, which is the US regulator, compatible as well, so that it's open up for anyone. Yeah, and actually, it doesn't matter whether it's on Binance or Coinbase or on Frankfurt Stock Exchange or wherever. We want to make it as compatible as possible.
Right.
We are talking to those centralized exchanges, but I guess out of my perspective, as the time frame is really, really close, it doesn't take forever. It might take a half year, maybe 7-8 months till you see those marketplaces existing on highly secured exchanges. Yeah.
Right.
And I think that the traffic is higher, the volume is higher, liquidity is higher, and slowly we'll see that people who push cryptocurrencies away because they don't trust that system, that they will get that trust and that they will try to play the game. And as any cryptocurrency professional knows, once in a while, if you're lucky, it can really generate some cool money. Yeah, once in a long run.
Yeah. All money is cool money. And
Yeah,
just
yeah.
one other quick question about the token. So on the roadmap, you say that there might be staking available at some point through Mantra DAO and Ferrum. Is that still the plan? Will people who own the MLT token, will they be able to stake on those platforms soon?
Yeah, yeah, we have done that already. So there is a
Oh, okay.
staking program on both, and actually I do not know whether it already has ended, but we want to provide that opportunity because that's my personal opinion. Yeah, I don't believe in the MLT. We did our IDO in May. Now it's September. Yeah, I have a completely long perspective on the token, and I'm a token owner as well. I don't sell a single token till I have reached the value of how I see the MLT. And the important thing is coming back to these 4 token classes and coming back to the first token, the MLT, to the factor that it's kind of a cash. Of course, if we have the security token and the NFT token, we want to make it possible that you can interact with the MLT. So if you have a security token, change it into MLT and do this. Go back to the security token with an MLT because we accept that as a payment. Invest in a movie with MLT, yeah, or
Right.
with something else. So out of our perspective, you want to make sure that the MLT, even though regulation-wise it's the smallest thing, it is really important because this is what I'm dreaming of. Make it become kind of an institutional industrial token, which has a meaning in that huge ecosystem called media. Yeah, and if we are able to promote that to our industry, which will happen, yeah, that, as I said, they are a little bit like, I don't know what this is all about, but they will see the advantages if they start buying those tokens, not for trading, for using the token. Then we're talking about a different game. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they don't buy add token or 10 or 20, yeah, when they get in, they need millions of those in order to
Yeah.
do something. Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is what I say as a kind of a, yeah, I can't say that because it's out, it's sold, there's, we don't sell anymore. So basically, this is the projection. Just wait till the industry steps in. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then you see demand, which has nothing to do with the liquidity, which is out right now. And it all can be managed through value. Yeah. As it's, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
deflation.
I definitely like, I hope people who are watching and listening to you, obviously, like, you're very intelligent. You speak very clearly about what your vision is. I hope people can sense that this is very, very early for this. This is a very ambitious idea. Clearly, Henrik and his team have the experience and have a very clear sense of where they want to take this. So if you're getting in on this project, you're getting in very, very early. And this isn't this cannot, this project cannot be judged at this point right now because there's it is so early. Marv, do we have time for one last question from the audience?
Yeah, we do. I'm just reading through them because we've answered a lot of this. We've got there was one here that I just wanted to. So if I create some content, will I be able to monetize it by selling it on multiple platforms, including MILC, or what's my
Sure.
best route?
Sure. None of those existing marketplace has an exclusivity. Yeah.
Okay.
So even the BBC, they have their own marketplace. They're using 10 others, or Discovery, they have their own marketplace using 10 others. So each content seller is using those existing marketplaces. We assume that we make a good offer in terms of flexibility, less costs, and many other advantages. So we might cut off part of the global existing trading volume. And even in our financial planning, I said, okay, in 5 years, we have maybe 0.3% of the global market. Yeah. Even my financial partners keep on laughing. I said, you should have at least 1%. Yeah. I said, yeah, well, we're talking about 500 billion. Yeah. And I think 0.3 is conservative enough so that you can believe that. Yeah. But of course, there's room and space to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10%. And we are all in this constructive way very aggressive. And yeah, whenever we're standing on the flip chart and thinking about the future, one of us always, the last sentence, always taking over the word leadership. It's always the end of a meeting. Yeah. And then we keep on laughing. But there's room and space. And the thing is, as I said, I don't want to compare us with that amazing guy, but actually what we're doing is exactly what the Jeff Bezos did 30 years ago, right? There was an existing book market, very old, very analog, yeah. And all he did, he didn't invent the market. He invented a new market system like e-commerce, yeah. And nobody believed that that could work, yeah. But we all know
Yeah.
where he is now. Yeah. So basically, he was sitting in a small office. He was thinking about the future. He was thinking about optimizing things. And this is what we have done as well. We know the industry. We know the market inside out. Yeah? Actually, I don't like him the way it is anymore. And now what we have in our hand is kind of an optimization. And of course, we don't want to lose that advantage. We keep on fighting to keep the platform fresh, to come up with new ideas, and we are inspired by the blockchain industry. There's not a single day where I don't hear about a project here and there. Say, oh wow, that's cool. That we have to somehow translate that into our system as well. So even the MILC platform could become kind of an incubator for other projects. Yeah, maybe too small, maybe too young, maybe not enough access to networks, maybe not enough industrial experiences, which is all important as well. Yeah, but we are open enough to integrate things that fits, and it's already happening that we're integrating features that are not developed by us. Yeah, sub marketplaces, sub functionalities like here's a KYC platform, does something we need, so we don't have to develop that by ourselves. So we work together with a small blockchain company. Here's an app that is not really 100% in our focus, but it's nice to have that. So it's going to be integrated on the platform as well. And for them, it's good that we know what we're talking about. So, and give them a stage for their vision. And if they're working together with us, they get the credibility out of the industry. Okay. If they're working with them, they might be able to know what they're talking about. And this is kind of nice interaction. And we want to first.
Yeah, I love how you're thinking big picture and thinking all the way down the line. So Hendrik, it's been amazing to have you here. I got to ask one last question because a lot of people are asking about it. Any updates on STO?
Yeah, very interesting process. So we have so we're working together with an advisor called Black Manta Capital, because there are some regulation or legal issues that comes along with the security token offering. It's not out that long, since 2 weeks, I guess. It's not that fast like an IDO. It's more like having one-to-one meetings with institutional investors. But those are happening, and we received already great offers. But then the next thing is there is a certain procedure that any investor has to go through. It's a purely institutional round, so the investment is supposed to be higher than 100,000 for legal reasons. Retail comes later, yeah. And then they have to go to quite complicated KYC process and all those kind of things. But we take our time. We said we opened up 2 weeks ago, and it's open till end of December. Yeah, so there's more a period. If somebody comes on board, and we have a lot of people we're talking to, they can just close it by themselves. Yeah, it's not really a lot what we are asking for. Once in a while, it's maybe too less. Yeah. But you have to understand, if somebody is willing to spend a couple of million to your security token, they want to have some more information. They want to talk to you. They want to meet you. They want to ask a lot of questions, and they're highly welcome to do that. And this is what I'm doing more or less the whole day.
Right. Well, we'll let you get back to doing that. It has been such a great pleasure. This has been Hendrik Hey. He's the founder. He's the managing director of MILC. What a great project. This was a fascinating conversation for me. I really loved learning more about this project. I think it's got major, major potential. Clearly, obviously, that's just obvious in the use case. So thank you so much. I hope that you'll come back to the channel at some point and keep us updated on what's going on, because I think this is a really, really cool project.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I said, there will be more news in a not very long period of time.
It's
awesome.
Thank you so much, Hendrik. We really appreciate it.
Bye-bye, everybody. Ciao,
Goodbye.
ciao.